Greetings and welcome to SmartWatchTix.com. We're going to have some fun today. This is an unusual watch. It's similar to a lot you've already seen, but it's so different in some very interesting ways. Stick with me, you're going to find out. It's called the Comet Pro, and its stake to claim beyond the original Comet is that it has been enhanced to include Bluetooth calling and, of course, music streaming from your phone through your watch. It comes to us from the Lokmat official store off of AliExpress. Again, it's called the Comet Pro. Bluetooth calls, the whole 9 yards, and lots of different styles with different bezels and different bands. You just got to go through it and check out which one you want. But please use the link in the show notes to head over there, and they'll know you saw the review here when you pick yours up. At $40 or less, we got a couple of coupon discounts hopefully available for you. Just by comparison, the Comet Pro with Bluetooth calling is $1 more. Basically a little over $1.25 more than the original Comet. So it's a great deal to get into a Bluetooth calling always on display. Yes, that's part of it too, even though they don't call it out, with an NFC chip in it. Yeah. Let's go through the specs as best we can. It's a learning experience on this one because they're not very detailed. You have to dive into it. You got a 1.32-inch 360 by 360, going to be nice, high resolution, nice bright screen, Bluetooth 5 and Bluetooth 3 for the Bluetooth calling and connectivity. You got wireless charging on this one, not the little thing magnetic coupling with the pins on it. There's nothing to attach to the back of this. It does that full like the Qi charger type, but it's proprietary to this one. You got all these different things listed here. We're going to show you those throughout the review, so I'll just let you skim it. And these are the different languages that are supported by the watch as well. Are you ready? Me too. Let's dive in. We get the watch on a pad in here. We pop that out. And I want to walk you through the watch real quick. We've got a covering on it, which is a simulated face. You have, where is it? There's a speaker on here as well. There it is on the side. That's for the Bluetooth calling aspect of it. And of course, you got all your diodes and everything. You have 3 buttons, a top, bottom, and then this is a rotating crown. You'll see that in action as well. Diving deeper into here, there's a set of bands that come with it. And again, you can order yours up with whatever bands you want or add your own. I think they're 22 millimeter in that neighborhood. If you need to know specifically, let me know. I try to find out for you, but they're typically around that. We've got a manual, and then we've got this fun little round charging thing. Now, like I say, it's got a contour on one side and it's flat on the bottom. You have to look for that, set the flat part down, just float the watch on it. And it's magnetically coupled. It's not going to go anywhere. Very, very ingenious design for a $40 watch. Really nice. The manual, Comet Pro user manual. We're using a different kind of a tethering app with this one, so you're going to want to download this, either use the QR code or preferably go directly to the Google Play Store or use the link I have in the show notes. It'll take you over there. This gives you the layout and different displays of some of the pages and functions that you'll see in the review today. And that's it. Then we're into another language. Okay, well, we've got some play ahead of us on this one. Let me put it together for you. Okay, we're going to tap the top button, not the center round knob that twirls, but just the top one. Give it a moment, and we get our boot up logo, Lokmat. And all of a sudden, we're into our home watch face. Now, I want to remind you to double check the whole watch. Make sure you're taking off anything covering it. There's a little cover on the back. You see this one? That's covering the instrumentation. So make sure you peel that little film off as well before you start using it. Now, when it comes to the bands, let me show you this one. This is a rubberized band. Very pliable, smooth to the touch. Underneath, it's got a little bit of corrugation to make sure it holds onto your arm. And, of course, it's sweat-proof. But the company sent me another band. Take a look at this. Now this is their more upgraded leather band. It's leather on the outside, really nice, great appearance, makes for a dressy watch. Underneath it's rubberized with little slats so any sweat can escape as well. So this band combination is also available. All right, we're ready to go and take a look at this. I'm going to swipe down. First of all, show you we've got a few different controls in here. I got Do Not Disturb. That'll stop it from doing its twisting and making noise and everything. The center one now, because this is a Bluetooth calling watch, is where you turn on and off the Bluetooth connection. So if you want to receive calls on your watch and answer them here, you turn that on. But if you don't, just tap it and it disconnects that Bluetooth calling function from your phone. Really sweet. You don't have to go mess with Bluetooth on your phone. This is our overall brightness. Low is not all that low. It's about like this. I find it a little bright at night, in a dark room. I wish it had one more notch to go down. But in terms of bright, look at that. It's completely washed out the symbol on here. You can't even see it. So it's great outdoors. Plenty bright. I'm going to leave it on the lowest one actually for the review so the icons aren't washed out. You have this lock feature in here, and that locks the dial so you can't touch it. So, whoa, look at that. We got into a whole different area. Oh, I didn't know that was there. But the dial's locked. Maybe it's not. All right. Wow. Okay. I run through these things before I start, but I never tried swiping. Well, I have it locked. Not sure what that means. Let's unlock it. Okay. And we still go over here. Wonderful. We'll get back to system then. We're flying blind. I am in, I believe, NFC here. I've got stuff, Alipay, it looks like, in Chinese. Now, the NFC chip that's in here, the technology, is pretty much for China. Outside of China, questionable. You can add a QR code if you have a service that will respond to payment by QR code. I think PayPal does that in some areas. Here's a handshake. Again, you got to put in a QR code. Here's a light bulb that I turned on. Okay. Maybe that turned us into always on mode. That's a supposed feature of this. And then I've got this, which is the QR code, obviously, that you scan to download the Tethering app, which you could do right now. Or, of course, you can get to it from the show notes. I always have a link there. Going to leave that light bulb on and see what happens. There's no more this way, but we swipe back that way, and we can get to these. Very interesting. I love it when we get new technology that blows my mind. I don't know what's going on. When I swipe to the right, I get this little pull-out thing. It's going to show me the most recent apps that have been used and what my power level is right there, just in case it's not showing on your watch face, which is true on this one. I don't believe it is showing. When I swipe to the left, now I get into all these different things. Wow, look at red and orange and green. We got diodes galore. I'm going to put it on for you. There we go. Oh, wow, it is. It's an always on screen. That is so cool. Okay, here we go. We're getting heart rate now. And I messed with this. You're going to see in a minute in settings. And I could not for the life of me figure out the always on display. You got to turn the little light bulb on. It's thinking about getting my heart rate right now. It's got the diodes going in the back, and it's taking way too long. You get 2 digits, and it's on there. Then it vibrates. It tells you what your heart rate is, and you're done with it. Come over one more. You got blood pressure now. This is going to give you your systolic over diastolic. Again, you'll get a reading. I'll show you some of them in the app, and it's taking too long, too. Blood oxygen. It's going to give you blood oxygen, and it's using green diodes, surprisingly. Generally, they do blood oxygen with the red diode technology, but that's what we're getting, and you get numbers on that. For all of those, make sure you check them against calibrated instruments before you believe any of the readings on these watches, okay? Here's my step count information. I don't see anything more. Here's weather in my area, complete with forecast, Fahrenheit or centigrade, settable by you, and I'm back to the watch face. I'm back here to heart rate now. I just wanted to check to see if we get anything when we slide up, and we don't. You're just going to get those basic readings. So this cycles around this way, but when you go that way, you open up that panel on the side. But it's nice that when you get to the end, it does take you back to the watch face. Speaking of which, I can turn the knob and change watch faces, and we've got a bunch of them on this watch, and they're very creative. Check them out. Since they're so easy to change, we'll just whip right through them. Okay, here's a nice one I like at night because you can see the time and it's not too obnoxious and cluttered. Here's a different one, another analog one. That's fun. It's got your step count, heart rate, and power level up there. Here's one for filling in your circles. Here's another one that's really bright digits, easy to see. And now we're back to the stock one here. By the way, this one was one I installed from the app itself. We are not done yet. We're going to press this side button at the bottom, and now we get into all of the stuff in the app drawer, which includes messages, dial pad, contacts, and call logs, all tied to Bluetooth calling. When you're tethered to the phone, you can do that. I'll demo some of that, not the actual calling, but what the speaker sounds like in a little bit. You got your different sporting activities, running, walking, football. No GPS in this one, but it does give you, of course, all of your tracking information, and that can be transferred to your phone through step count, not so much with GPS tracking. You've got your pedometer reading. We saw that. Last night's sleep time is here. I don't think that was on the card up there. Deep and light sleep is available. This is your music player. Okay, you set up what you want to play on your phone. In this case, it's YouTube, one of my videos, so I don't have to worry about copyright issues with Google and YouTube. I'm going to go to the music player right here, and I got my volume already set all the way up, and we'll play it right now. And it starts it up here.
Welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. It's a beautiful day, and we have an unboxing or two to do. By the way, we are
nice and loud. Speakers right under here. Listen. There it's playing. There, I covered it, and it puts it into mute mode.
Earphone units, and I've got two
okay.
here. Now, usually,
so that's an idea of what the sound is like. Microphone works fine. You can make and receive phone calls, and you don't have to like cram this up to your ear to hear it. It's nice and loud from right here. Heart rate, blood pressure, blood oxygen are there. These are your different styles of how the icons are going to appear. Cool, it goes into always on. And you can select them directly from here, whichever one you like. I like to go with this one because it's easier for us to go through. So that was your style. Then after that you've got, well, they call it Siri, but this is your activation of your personal assistant, usually Google if you're going to be using that, and it'll interrogate back and forth with your phone when you're tethered. Using the mic and speaker. You got a basic calendar on here showing you the current date. You've got your weather again. That's what we already saw. This is a breathing exercise, inhale, exhale type of relaxation. You do have a calculator in this one with a decent sized digits that you can do whatever math you want to and get your results right there. This is the wallet, again tied in with NFC, but you got to get the QR code stuff, and I don't know how to use that outside of China. Business card, if you put an NFC business card in it, you can exchange cards by just touching watches with people. Countdown timer, overall stopwatch, and it counts in hundredths of a second. We always check it if we can leave it or not and come back into it. Let's see, come back into it is down here. We got to slide all the way back down to stopwatch. And is it still running? Yes, it is. So it'll run in the background for you. But it'll only go for an hour. Then it's minutes, seconds, and hundredths of a second. And then it'll loop again. So make note of the hour you start if you need more accuracy than once an hour. We can't leave it this way, so I have to bail out of it that way. Stopwatch we were at. And then after stopwatch is you find your phone, motion track. Wow, interesting. Okay, supposedly giving us motion track when we're doing our workouts. Sorry guys, don't know about that one. If I have any information, I'll put it in the show notes. Pretty complex watch. Remote camera, your alarms, there's Alipay, and then there's your settings, and that's what you can get to if we swipe down. You've got the dials you can change, your screen off time. Now watch this. I had it set for never, which theoretically it would never go off, but it goes off. You can set it as low as 5 seconds, which I'm going to do for testing right now, and it was set for never. Now if I go out of here, I give it a 5-second wait, and if always on time is on, it should, and it does, go directly into always on time. We were looking at screen off time, brightness we've shown you, and then this is the other one, always on settings. 5 seconds, 10, 15, 60, 180 seconds. I'm thinking, and I don't know, I've tried this, but if I set it for 5 seconds, okay, we're going to get back to that. Maybe the always on is only on for 5 seconds and then goes off. Or maybe it comes on after 5 seconds, but then it conflicts with the other one? Weird. Key definition. Raise your wrist to see the time. Your intensity for vibration. Do not disturb. Password. Languages. Time and date you can set directly. Man, it goes on and on. There's where you set up your emergency. Bluetooth calling. You can factory reset, reboot, power off, and about. It's going to tell you that it's the Comet Pro. This is a very sophisticated watch. It's got more going for it than I realized. Okay, the bottom button is programmed for a double tap to bring up Siri or your assistant. So you double tap it, you get the circle, you touch it. What time is it in Shenzhen, China?
Time in Shenzhen, China is 8:13 a.m. on Saturday.
You hear that? So you get the voice response back whenever you interrogate it, and then you can come back out of that and switch to another watch face. I know if you long press the top one, it's going to take you to this, which I wanted to show you can slide power off, or you can go into SOS if you program that. Because you're Bluetooth tethered to your phone, if you have it with you and you're within range, you should be able to do a Bluetooth SOS call. So the key definition aspect of the system has to do with the bottom button. Come in here, you can program the double click or the press. Now we saw the double click is set right now for Siri, and I just programmed the long press to be the stopwatch. So if I'm back here on my home screen and I press it once, I get into my app drawer. Okay, if I press it twice, we got into Siri. If I long press, it jumps us back into the stopwatch, which has been running for almost 48 minutes now, which is pretty cool. All right, I think that's just about everything. I'm a little confused about the NFC and all of the stuff that's related to that, so I can't cover that any further for you. But I do want to jump us over to the app now. This is a different tethering app than what we've seen usually. It's called RD Fit. Here it is in the Google Play Store. Hit open. And of course, it's already set up and logged in and tethered and connected and everything. So this is what your home page looks like. It's showing you your percentage of your goal, your step count, target, calories, distance traveled, and the overall range and amount of time in this. You tap it and you get into a calendar, shows you the different days, and of course the steps during a particular hour, and it's all broken down right here, hour by hour, which is pretty nice. You can change to different days. There's yesterday, there was today, so you've got that covered. Now we get down into sleep time. Here is last night's sleep time, and there's the charts and information, and I'm not able to touch it and get any detail in it, but I do get the overall summary, including deep, light, look at this, all-weather sleep. I wonder, that's interesting. A one-time awake and how long that awake time was, 5 hours. Sleep time, 22. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, that's interesting. Did I have last night? Yeah, little window of sleep last night. Okay, different numbers in here. Some I don't recognize. I'm not quite sure how to interpret those, but if you understand them, that's great. Anyway, something fun to play with. So that was sleep. Heart rate now. You get continuous heart rate, and it gives you a really interesting line chart, and this appears to be accurate for the time window, and it's really narrow, like the last hour. I can slide along this, go back to 1338 to 1444. So it's the last hour's representation. Doesn't go anywhere if I touch it. Doesn't show anything else on it. But it does show me that I'm in the tranquil zone and what my heart rate was every 10 minutes during that window. If I go back to yesterday, wow, here we go, 8:59 to 17:38. So that's the whole day. Yes, wow, it even goes back. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's capturing the whole day. And be honest with you, I wore this all day yesterday and planned to do this review yesterday, but something came up. So I only had it on a little while today. So this is probably just the information for what I captured for today for this part of it. But there you go. There's your heart rate. And that's one of the better displays I've seen for that. Now, blood pressure, blood oxygen, these are hit and miss. It's not continuous. It's just when you take the readings, and it's going to connect it with lines between those readings. So I had a couple of readings yesterday, a couple of readings today. That's it. But you got to manually do each one of them for these two. Yeah, see, these were manual readings taken one right after another, and there's the graph of it. So I whipped those out real quick just so I'd have something to show you. Had a couple of points yesterday. There those are. So not really happy with how these are handled, but if that's not a big deal for you, heart rate and sleep time and your step count are pretty good. All of the different sports are listed individually here, which is kind of weird. You usually only do one or two. You can dive in here and see which one you want, and you can activate that. I have not done this. I'm not going to be able to for this unboxing, but there's a possibility when you activate from the phone a run or a walk or riding that it could tie into GPS, and maybe that's what shows up in the fitness track on the watch. If I get a chance to do that, read in the show notes and I'll tell you what it's all about, because I do not understand what that track is all about, because there's no GPS in the watch itself. That's it for this whole front page. I want to show you the device. We have the motion gesture for when you twist your wrist to light it up, and you can set start and ending times, which is great. You got your screen illumination. Now here you go. You've got all different times down to 5 seconds and continuous screen illumination. I've had it set for that, but it doesn't do that. It seems the maximum was 60 seconds. And we do see now that we have the always on capability. Did you see it just now lit up from black? Not from the ambient always on mode. So you really got to fuss with those. They're integrated some crazy way together between the app and the two different settings that are on here. You got do not disturb, update your phone firmware. You can turn weather on and off, but it only is for your area. And I don't see in this area where you set the whether it's centigrade or Fahrenheit. I think that's over here. You can input your contacts and do all of that for setting up your phone as well. You go to you get the QR code and all this. You can set in your personal information. I don't see anything for period tracking in this particular app, even though I've set it for females, so not sure about there. Here's where you can set up business cards for all of these different apps, and then I believe use the NFC QR code combination thing to do stuff with it. Same with wallet. I see PayPal is here, but I don't know that it works outside of China. That's something country by country. You'd have to check that yourself. Here's our setting. There's Fahrenheit, Imperial. You can switch those, set your permissions so you can have things pushed to your watch. Help and about, and that's pretty much everything for the overall app. So, wow, the Comet Pro, it's pretty interesting watch with Bluetooth calling in it and lots of different watch faces available just by twirling. You can get it from the Lokmat official store, and it's relatively inexpensive for a Bluetooth calling watch. Not sure about waterproofing. I know you guys are going to ask me about that. Anytime you have a Bluetooth calling watch with speaker and microphone, unless it clearly states that it's got like 5 ATM waterproofing, I'd stay away from water. You could damage the speaker in particular, or the mic. Anyway, you got lots of different combinations with different bezels. Check it out, and yeah, it's only $1 or so more than the original Comet, which does not have the Bluetooth calling. You heard how loud the speaker is, and it's Bluetooth 5, so if you can spend an extra $1, I'd go for this one. Really nice watch. That's it for today, gang. Something definitely different. Lots of fun little nooks and crannies in this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.